If you're a creative person who is prone to overthinking and you've been wanting to post on social media, build a personal brand, and grow for years and haven't done anything about it, then I think you're going to like today's video. I too am that person. I am constantly critical of my own ideas and spent years not making any progress. But I've recently started being very consistent on social media, and I want to share some quick stats with you today, where I'm going next, and what you can do today to get started on your journey. I started posting more sporadically at the start of this year, thinking this is the year I'm going to finally be consistent. And the problem was I didn't know exactly what niche I wanted to focus on. I was all over the place. I had ideas like I like to design. I used to work in the apparel industry. I just pivoted careers into data analytics. So I wasn't exactly sure who my audience was and where to focus. My results were a little inconsistent at the start of the year. However, within the last week, I started posting consistently every day. And I told myself, I am going to post consistently for 90 days. No breaks. I want a content every day so that I can have a ton of data to look at and evaluate from. Through this, I know I can get 1% better every day. I can learn what kind of content provides me energy, what kind of content is adding value to other people. And from this, I will hone and build a collective story and define what it is that I'm going to be working on going forward. So let's get right into the numbers. On IG, Instagram, I have 5 days of posting content. This is an old account. I've had it since 2014. So some of my followers, I have 205 followers currently, are friends, old colleagues. I actually went through and had gotten rid of a lot of followers, and I heard you should probably not do this, but this was a while ago, so I don't think it will affect my numbers currently. I have 4.8 thousand views in the past month. My top performing reel so far was the video I posted this week of me doing ballet, and it was using two trending contents. Trending audio to the Wuthering Heights Kate Bush song, and also it was after Timothy Chalamet had made his comment about opera and ballet. I had randomly filmed this video and I thought, you know what? This could be a great opportunity of two trending things. Not that I'm intending to necessarily post ballet content, but I just thought, let's see what this does. So that did get the most engagement with 2.9 thousand views, only had a 26% skip rate and over 5 hours of watch time, and it brought 2 new followers. I also had a lot of engagement from some friends who I used to do ballet with. I will say that of all of the short form channels, Instagram was one of the ones that I think it just feels a little slower. You could tell where TikTok gets a little bit more engagement quickly, but I think eventually Instagram will build more of that following for the influencer or the creator. Now for TikTok. So I am not natively somebody who is actively using TikTok or had been in the past, but I realized the value there. So I wanted to see how the same exact reels would perform. Again, it's the same exact 5 posts, and within the last week, I've had 3.8 thousand views, up 2,200%, which means AKA my account's very new. I've had 7 new followers this week, 305 likes. And again, that ballet TikTok was the top. It had over 1,000 views and around 2 hours watch time. Interesting that it had less watch time than the Instagram, which proves that maybe Instagram could be more valuable in the long term. However, I did see something that was interesting. The most engaging post, in the sense that I was getting comments of this really helped or this was interesting advice, was a TikTok I made about where to find affordable sewing supplies if you're just getting started or if you're getting back into it. And that actually had people saying that was really helpful. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, we're trying to help other people and provide something valuable. So for me, that was good insights. And then again, so YouTube Shorts was again the same 5 reels, 9.2 thousand views in the last 28 days, 1 new sub, watch time of 14.2 hours. I will say near the beginning of the month, I had 1 longer form video that I posted, which garners more views and more of that hour time. The top content for the last month was a cheap blush hack I did where I used eyeshadow instead of eyeshadow as blush. That got just over 2,000 views, but recent uploads gaining speed, again, that ballet video is quickly gaining speed as the second top short and 1,600 views. I have like that free vidIQ integrated into the site, and just a couple of days ago, it told me that I had hit 12,000 total views on my channel. 2 days later, literally this morning when I woke up, it had said I had hit 14,000 views. Now, granted, this is just a drop in the bucket. I haven't even hit 1% of the watch time hours, the subscribers, or anything needed to get monetized. But you know what? Hey, that speed at which it's growing, it's giving me hope of that like upward curve. So it's promising. In terms of like captioning, I try to make all of my TikTok captions pretty quick, and honestly, I did not put much time at all into YouTube short captions. But for Instagram, I did try to take more time in writing out more of a thoughtful caption because I think it does better on Instagram. Otherwise, there really wasn't a lot of extra differences. For Instagram covers, I've also tried to start thinking about or putting a little bit more effort into the cover because I think that visual aesthetic when you go to someone's page does do a little bit better and you're trying to present yourself in a certain way or make reels easier to find. So that is something I've been trying to think about. I know it's only been 5 days in a row of posting, but for me, that really means a lot. I've been showing up, and even on days where I'm not sure if I want to do it, I still do it anyways. Granted, there are a couple of times where I thought the reel would do really well and it didn't perform much at all. And guess what? I am trying to just push through those moments and think of what I'm learning from it instead of thinking of it as a total failure. My next thought is I'll probably report on my account stats at a monthly basis. So probably the next time I report, it will be for all of March instead of these fragmented stats. I just really wanted to get at least a starting point since this is pretty much from scratch. Another thing that I want to start thinking about, and granted, I'm really not honed in on the direction and audience and alignment yet, but I would like to think about how will I eventually monetize this? So maybe if at least just get some way to get emails and build up my email subscriber base. I've had ideas on freebies I can provide in exchange for an email address, or maybe I look into ManyChat, see if there's like a free version I can experiment with and start seeing if that is a way to build up my email subscriber base. But honestly, if we're going to be real here, I think the bigger win more than these numbers is actually at a more visceral level for me. I feel way more positive than I have in a while. Like my outlook on life is becoming more sunny again. I have been even more positive feeling at work. I think it's fun to just like, now these ideas are starting to fire in my mind. I'm jotting them down. It's giving me something to look forward to when I come home from the 8 to 5. That to me is more important because it's telling me I haven't allowed myself to be creative in a while. You're always just thinking about, okay, well, what's the ROI? Why work on something if I don't know exactly what I'm gonna get out of it? And I think when you're being creative in your approach to business or your approach to building a personal brand, kind of have to do the opposite and lean into the things that you're curious about and you wanna work on just because, and then maybe something will come out of that. But I think first you have to let your mind just be open and be willing to experiment and see what might come of that. If you're in a similar boat and you find yourself sitting there talking to ChatGPT, researching different things online, watching different videos, trying to get ideas about specific niches or what exact audience to pursue, I encourage you, please, 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 try just experimenting and creating for the sake of it. Stop worrying so much about the return on your investment from doing that thing. If I could tell you anything, it's just today, do something. If you have thought about painting, order a beginner gouache kit from Amazon. If you thought, I would like to try kickboxing, go sign up for a trial class. If your mother's birthday is coming up, why don't you make her a gift or write her a card? I think when we start just having fun and a little bit loosening up, letting ourselves work on things and be in that creative space without the pressure to make something of it, we can actually have the ability to get more ideas and to grow from that. I think is so much better when we just allow ourselves to breathe and be in that space. And if you're going to take that social content seriously, maybe start documenting that online. start showing what you're working on. If you need a good inspiration for this, I highly recommend Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist. I've referenced these so many times. I've given this book to gifts as people because he really emphasized the importance of just doing, being analog. Don't think too much about it, having these creative outlets. And additionally, stop worrying so much about exact path and the exact alignment, exactly what you're doing, because everything you're working on, you are the red thread. You are the ribbon tying the package together, and that is the consistent portion. So don't worry too much about, oh, what if I do this and it doesn't really match this kind of content? Or what if I want to play guitar and whatever. Just right now, get out of your head and start just doing something creative. That's all I have for today, but I am so excited to hop on with you next time and talk about my stats for March. I'm very curious what they're gonna look like, and I would love to know, what are you going to work on today? Drop it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.